Saudi Arabia is a nation undergoing stunning economic, social, and religious changes. The seismic shifts taking place in the wealthy and influential kingdom are resulting in profound effects across the Middle East, and more should be expected. Most importantly, these dramatic changes may have direct end-time implications. Now, I'll touch on these things further on in this Geoprophecy report, but for now, let's take a brief look at some of the background and key facts related to the epic changes occurring within the Islamic kingdom. In 2016, Saudi Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman, MBS, announced Vision 2030, a transformative plan designed to wean Saudi Arabia from its long-standing dependence on oil revenue and reposition it as a leader in so-called clean, renewable energy. In tandem with this strategy, the plan also revealed the Crown Prince's desire to remake Saudi Arabia's image and rebrand it as a global business, trade, and tourism mecca by 2030. Situated near the crossroads of 3 continents, the Arabian Peninsula borders 5 major bodies of water. One of the keys to Saudi Arabia's long-term economic transition is to develop its 1,100 miles of coastline along the Red Sea, which is one of the world's most important shipping lanes. This strategic trade route links Asia and the Indian Ocean to Egypt's Suez Canal, the Mediterranean Sea, and all of Europe. The significance of this geographic reality is evidenced in 2 of the 3 pillars of Mohammed bin Salman's Vision 2030 plan. They are: 1, to reinforce the idea that Saudi Arabia is the heart of the Islamic and Arab world. 2, to become a global powerhouse for international investment. And 3, to harness the kingdom's geographic advantage as a hub to connect Asia, Europe, and Africa. In a country infamous for its adherence to strict Islamic tradition and fundamentalist Muslim ideology, MBS has rolled out his visionary plan with a strong hand and a great deal of political prowess. Within the kingdom, many devout Wahhabist Muslim clerics and their radical followers despise the Crown Prince's calls for religious moderation and cultural changes. Outside the kingdom, the international community has varied opinions of MBS. Some see him as a modern reformer who seeks to improve the lives of his people, but others see him as an authoritarian ruler who will stop at nothing to achieve his personal aims. Despite the mixed reviews on MBS, it cannot be denied that the systematic unveiling of his largely secular economic agenda has been remarkably bold and imaginative, garnering the attention of governments and multinational business entrepreneurs around the globe. Several of his new jaw-dropping initiatives are being developed along the Red Sea coast, which is a point of significance that should not be overlooked by students of Bible prophecy. NEOM is a master-planned $500+ billion futuristic megacity currently under construction in the coastal desert region of northwestern Saudi Arabia. More akin to a small country than a single city, the land area designated for NEOM is said to be 33 times the size of New York City and is projected to have 16 boroughs and a population of 9 million at completion. The first phase of the metropolis is to open in 2030 and will be home to 1 million people. The announced projects currently under development within NEOM are among the most ambitious the world has ever seen. First is the Line. This linear smart city will be comprised of 2 mirrored glass towers that rise to a height of 1,600 feet and extend more than 110 miles in length. Between the 2 parallel towers will be outdoor space for parks and recreation. The massive linear city will be built in 3 layers, 1 above ground for pedestrians living in the tower structures, and 2 underground to accommodate infrastructure and transportation. The city will be monitored using artificial intelligence and is expected to utilize predictive modeling to anticipate daily needs of residents. Second, is Oxagon. Straddling land and sea on the Red Sea coast within Neom will be the world's largest floating structure, a massive industrial city named Oxagon. According to press reports, the city will be powered solely by renewable energy and will be home to the world's first automated port and integrated logistics hub, using artificial and predictive intelligence along with robotics to facilitate faster, seamless trade across the globe. Third is Trojena. Perched atop Neom's towering mountains nearly 30 miles from the Red Sea coast, and incidentally adjacent to Jabal Allah's mountain, the possible location of Mount Sinai in Arabia, a futuristic year-round ski resort is being constructed around a massive man-made lake that will cantilever above Neom's snow-capped peaks. The new destination is slated to house 6 distinct development districts that focus on blending real experiences with virtual and engineered innovations. Trojena is poised to become the premier global destination for luxury mountain tourism. Fourth, Sindala. This ultra-luxury island resort is scheduled to open in 2024 and is only the first of many more islands to be developed along Neom's Red Sea coast. Catering to some of the world's wealthiest individuals, Sindala Island will include luxury hotels, restaurants, a wellness center, and a state-of-the-art marina designed to accommodate the world's largest private sea vessels. This exclusive anchorage will become Neom's premier golf and mega yacht destination on the Red Sea, with navigable access through the Suez Canal to the Mediterranean Sea. When Neom was first announced in 2017, the Crown Prince indicated Neom would implement its own laws, essentially operating outside the judicial framework of Saudi Arabia, which is based on Islamic law. Today, the question remains as to whether Mohammed bin Salman will be able to walk this tightrope or will instead try to enact sweeping changes to Saudi law in order to entice global companies to invest in Neom and move their headquarters to the kingdom. Based on recent reports, it seems MBS is pursuing the latter. Neom will operate entirely on renewable energy and will implement the latest in technological advances. Curiously, in the past year, Saudi Arabia has formed a closer alliance with China, stoking fears that Chinese surveillance technology may be used to monitor and control the residents of Neom. If the ambitious plans of the Crown Prince come to fruition, they will not only have a dramatic impact on his kingdom, but on all the nations of the Middle East and beyond. Saudi Arabia, and more specifically the city of Mecca, more than 500 miles to the south of Neom, is the heart and soul of Sunni Islam in the world today. In large measure, the one who holds power over Mecca holds power over the Muslim world. And as the Crown Prince opens his kingdom to tourism and investment and promotes social and economic reforms and continues to advocate for a more moderate, non-violent form of Islam, there is the potential for greater cooperation between nations in the Middle East. It's no secret that Saudi Arabia and Israel are closer to reaching a peace agreement than at any time since the modern rebirth of Israel 75 years ago. Unthinkable only a few years ago, it would not be at all surprising to see in the near future a flood of Israeli high-tech corporations investing heavily in Neom, and multitudes of Israeli citizens enjoying the pleasures of Neom's Red Sea Riviera. However, as Saudi Arabia moves toward religious moderation, societal reforms, and potential peace with Israel, it may be these very changes that make the Islamic kingdom ripe for an attack by a more politically radicalized Islamic nation such as Iran, which adheres to Shiism, a different form of Islam. Isaiah chapters 13 and 21, along with Jeremiah 50 and 51, seem to indicate that in the last days, Arabia will be attacked by nations from the north, including Iran, which in the Bible are mentioned as Elam and Media. Though I am not dogmatic on this issue, I believe the Bible depicts a sobering and catastrophic end for the wealthy kingdom. Revelation 17 and 18 reveal a divine end times judgment will befall a city referred to in Scripture as Mystery Babylon the Great, the mother of harlots. In context, this city, which is likely intended to be understood as a nation or a kingdom, is singled out in the last book of the Bible for divine judgment due to its abhorrent behavior, the seducing of humanity into committing spiritual fornication with a false religious system. This is the reason this city or kingdom, referred to as Mystery Babylon the Great, is described as the mother of harlots, for she is the greatest source of religious deception the world has ever known. Revelation chapter 17 and 18 personify this last day's Babylon, describing her as a harlot queen. She's clothed in the royal colors of purple and scarlet and adorned with gold and precious stones. In her hand, she holds a golden cup filled with her abominations and filthiness. She's consumed with pride and arrogance and lives in decadence. She seduces the kings of the earth, and they become drunk with the wine of her fornication because they have lusted after the intoxicating pleasures and immense wealth that she offers them. She herself is intoxicated with the blood of the saints and the martyrs of Jesus. The Bible describes the destruction of this harlot city that reigns both religiously and economically over the kings of the earth. She will face plagues, death, mourning, and famine, and be utterly burned by fire. The kings of the earth will wail and lament over her when they see the smoke of her burning, and the merchants of the earth, who became rich through her, shall weep and mourn for her because no one can buy their merchandise anymore. The destruction of Mystery Babylon will occur during the day of the Lord's wrath, near the end of Daniel's 70th week, after the rapture of the church has taken place. Therefore, the words of the Apostle John in Revelation 18, 4 and 5 may be intended to be a warning to Jewish people who are living and working in the kingdom along the Red Sea in that future day. Listen to his words. And I heard another voice from heaven saying, Come out of her, my people, that ye be not partakers of her sins, and that ye receive not of her plagues. For her sins have reached unto heaven, and God hath remembered her iniquities. You can find even more evidence of the harlot's identity in the 17th and 18th chapters of Revelation. For example, when John was carried away in the Spirit, the harlot queen he saw was located in a wilderness. The Red Sea coast of the Islamic kingdom is mountainous Middle Eastern desert. The harlot queen is said to sit on many waters, which are people, multitudes, nations, and tongues. The Islamic kingdom has a powerful religious influence over hundreds of millions of Muslims throughout the Middle East. As the harlot queen is burning, every shipmaster and all the company in ships and sailors and as many as trade by sea stood afar off and cried when they saw the smoke of her burning. The Islamic kingdom is situated along the Red Sea, which is a major shipping route for global trade. And when the shipmasters and sea traders see the smoke of the harlot queens burning, they cast dust on their heads. This is a sign of mourning and is a uniquely Middle Eastern cultural behavior. These are sobering biblical prophecies. Our Father in heaven is a God of righteousness and perfect justice, and what He has decreed will come to pass. But He is also a God of love and mercy, which should be a poignant reminder for us to pray earnestly with an attitude of love for all people in the Middle East. The Lord is not willing that any should perish, but that all should come to repentance.